Hey guys, so I just wanted to talk about the TWAB from yesterday because I felt the need to sound off about it, and honestly, I don't know what Bungie is thinking with these changes. Every single thing in that TWAB yesterday was a nerf. There was not a single positive thing that they were changing. There was not a, hey, we're nerfing all these weapons and armor, but hey, here's what we're buffing, here's something to look forward to. No, there was nothing to look forward to. It was just here's everything that we're nerfing, here's all the fun things that we're taking out of the game. Oh, and buy our Trevor t-shirt. So it was just, you know, negativity coupled with them trying to sell us more stuff. And yeah, Trevor is cool, but, not a good look when after everything that you did earlier in that news article. And the nerfs themselves, I don't understand what Bungie is thinking. So I Whisper of the Worm, just take I don't even know why they even have it in the game at this point. Back in D1, it was Black Hammer, and it generated ammo on your 3 precision hits in a row. And everybody loved it, but admittedly, it was probably a little bit too powerful for a legendary weapon. So Bungie said, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to have it come back as an exotic weapon in the special slot, call it Black Spindle, and now it pulls ammo from reserves. Okay, fine, whatever. It even had a secret mission to get Black Spindle, just like in D2. There was a secret mission that you could do to get Black Spindle. So, fine, whatever. Then Whisper of the Worm comes out in D2, again with a secret mission that was really hard to do, and it was timed, and you had to beat all the bosses at the end in order to get it. But this time it was a heavy sniper, and it had the OG generate ammo from thin air perk. So everybody's like, oh shit, I gotta get this. This is really cool. So everybody wanted to do the Whisper mission, and it was a really like a high point for the community, especially since it came out, I believe, in Warmind, and Warmind was, yeah, it was better than Curse of Osiris, but it was still not Forsaken. None of the, big changes had come through yet. So it was something to look forward to, and it gave you something to like strive towards. Now, Bungie is going right back to nerfing it again and making it exactly like what Black Spindle was in D1 by having it pull ammo from reserves. And admittedly, yeah, they are increasing the ammo reserves back to what they were before they nerfed it the first time. But now, unlike in D1 where Black Spindle was a special weapon, now it's a heavy weapon. So you have a heavy sniper that's exotic, and the perk for it, the exotic perk for it, there was nothing in D1 that could give you the pull ammo from reserves perk like Black Spindle had. There was no class ability that could, give you that. Now we have not only do we have the Titan Rally Barricade, but we also have Warlocks with Lunafaction boots, and both of those things can give you the exotic perk now for Whisper of the Worm just by putting down a class ability. So here's the thing. If I have my Darcy, which has more ammo reserves even with these changes to Whisper of the Worm, it has more ammo reserves, does just as much damage, if not more, and I can have the exact same exotic effect by having either a Warlock with Lunafaction boots or a Titan with Rally Barricade. Why in the hell would I ever use Whisper of the Worm over Darcy ever again? They've essentially made it so that Whisper is completely useless. If if they really want to do this nerf to Whisper, they either need to make Whisper a heavy weapon that's a legendary so that you can have another exotic weapon equipped alongside it, or they need to move it to the special ammo slot so you can have some other heavy weapon equipped. Because right now, they've already confirmed that these changes are going in, regardless of what the community says. Cosmo mentioned it on Reddit the other day, or yesterday, and he said, you know, I am submitting feedback, but just so you know, these changes are going in regardless of what the community says. So, so much for communication and what the community wants. Bungie doesn't give a shit what we want. It's, they're going to do what they want and forget whatever we want. But anyway, so that was Whisper of the Worm. The other weapons, none of them really stood out to me, the nerfs, except for maybe Ace of Spades, which is kind of funny because they nerfed it due to Crucible, but the only place Ace of Spades is really being used a lot is on PC because there's no bloom on PC for hand cannons. So it was being used even more than like Luna's Howl or Not Forgotten. But on console, like nobody, like a lot of people aren't using Ace of Spades in Crucible on console because of the bloom. They're using Luna's Howl and they're using Not Forgotten. So not only are they nerfing Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl in the next season, now they're nerfing Ace of Spades too. So you just made it, you're nerfing all of the best hand cannons in the game essentially. So that was the other one I didn't understand, which brings me to the exotic armor changes. This is what I don't understand. Yes, the exotic pieces of armor that help you regenerate your super, are chosen over the other pieces of exotic armor more often than not, especially in PvE. I get that. If I'm running Tether, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to run Orpheus rigs. I just am. Because super regeneration is far and away better than something like Graviton Forfeit, where you have, increased invisibility time. Unless you're playing like maybe Crucible or something. But instead of looking at the other pieces of exotic armor and saying, okay, how can we improve these pieces of exotic armor so that people will have to actually say, okay, well, I would run my Orpheus rigs, but this piece of exotic armor has this perk that I might want to actually use instead because I don't necessarily need to have my tether back right away. So instead of doing that, they just took every single piece of exotic armor that regenerates regenerates super when you use it, and they just nerfed them into the ground. They even nerfed Shards of Galanor and Ursa Furiosa when those were already nerfed to crap. Like, I never use Shards of Galanor anymore on my Hunter when I'm running Blade Barrage. There is 0 point. I can, unless I'm running like maybe Blind Well or something where I can get my Blade Barrage back almost immediately. Like, and it's just so inconsistent, and I just don't understand what Bungie's thought process is behind this. I think their thought process is, oh, if we nerf all these exotics that people are using a lot, maybe they'll use other pieces of exotic armor. But Bife messaged off about this on Twitter the other day, and his point is exactly right. Nobody is using Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves on the Hunter because of Orpheus rigs. They're not using Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves because Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves are fucking garbage. Because nobody uses sidearms at all. Nobody uses sidearms. So it's not that Orpheus rigs are too overpowered. It's that every other Hunter exotic that could potentially be put on for you is way underpowered and not a viable option, especially in most of the things in the game. And then they have the Reckoning Tier 3, where they basically built the entire encounter around having all those exotics that regenerate super on using them. So if you're running tier 3 in matchmaking and you don't have either a hunter with Orpheus rig or a warlock with Phoenix Protocol or a warlock with Skull of Dire Ahamkara, you're gonna probably not be successful. And now that they're nerfing it, they also didn't mention if they're going to be taking a look at Reckoning Tier 3 to make it like a little bit easier now that they're doing all these nerfs to exotic armor. So there's like, if you're matchmaking into tier 3 Reckoning, it's probably almost damn near impossible to actually do that. And it's going to be damn near impossible because if they're going to be nerfing all the super regenerating ammo pieces, then it's going to be really next to impossible unless you have a set team of 4 people who can actually do it. And I don't understand, and we keep hearing from Cosmo and DMG, and let me be clear. Cosmo and DMG and Deej, their job is really hard. I don't give the 3 of them crap because their job is basically messengers between the community and the devs. And the best that they can do is take how we feel and then turn around and tell the devs. So unless they're not doing that, then I really have no problem with what the 3 of them are doing. And I've been seeing a lot of people on Reddit giving Cosmo and DMG shit because of their answers of, we'll let the team know how you guys feel about, the nerfs that we announced. but that's literally all they can do. They're not the dev team guys. Their job is to just be the messenger and tell us, what's going on and so on and so forth. So, I don't envy their job. Their job is probably really hard and they probably get more shit than, what is necessarily, you know, some something that they should have to deal with. But just the entire TWAB yesterday was just completely tone deaf. And like I said, it didn't help that at the end of the TWAB, it was just all negativity, all nerfs, and then, oh, go and buy our t-shirt. We made this t-shirt for Trevor. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say on it. I mean, I thought that when Activision left the deal with Bungie, that oh good, now that Activision's gone, we can see what Bungie can do with Destiny. But now with the announcement yesterday, I'm not looking forward to anything in year 3 after Season of Opulence comes out. There's literally like they're literally going backwards. Like Forsaken was a huge step forward from what Vanilla D2 was, and now it just feels like they're going backwards to what they were in Vanilla D2 when almost half the community decided to leave because they were tired of putting up with the bullshit. And with this, not only does it make me, not look forward to anything coming up in D2, it what is stopping Bungie from making the exact same mistakes for Destiny 3 if there is a Destiny 3? I'm assuming that there's going to be a Destiny 3. But what is stopping them from making the exact same mistakes in Destiny 3? Because I can tell you right now, if Bungie makes the exact same mistakes that they did in Destiny 3 as they did in Destiny 2, there's not going to be a community left to support because everybody is going to just leave because they're going to be tired of putting up with the bullshit. They're going to be tired of, Bungie saying, "Oh, we're sorry, we're listening. See, we're listening," and then they make some really good changes, and then it's like, "Oh, Bungie's listening now," and then they turn right around and go right back to what they were doing before, just nerfing everything into the ground, having zero communication. We've gone so long without a sandbox update or any changes to the Crucible that if I was a Crucible player, I'm not. I'm a PvE raid player. But if I was a Crucible player, like I would have left ages ago. I would have left like shortly after Forsaken because there's been zero sandbox changes or not even any new Crucible maps. There's been literally nothing coming for Crucible. And they can say all they want. Oh, we are working on stuff for the Crucible, but they don't announce it. All they do is stuff like yesterday where they just announce all these nerfs and then they give us nothing else to look forward to. I mean, it just amazes me that they had a lot of goodwill going into this TWAB because Zero Hour is really well done. Like it was a really good mission. Everybody was looking forward to it. The weapon that you get for it is really good. So, the community was on a high note and with one weekly update, they completely trashed any type of like positivity that the community had going into the new season. Like there's zero reason to look forward to the new season now with for me except for maybe the Crown of Sorrow raid coming up. There's literally nothing for me to look forward to, and now I'm just waiting for them to they already nerfed Whisper of the Worm to the point of irrelevance. I guarantee you Outbreak Perfected at some point is going to be next on the chopping block because that weapon is like really powerful against bosses right now. There is no way that weapon is not going to get nerfed into the fucking ground. There is no way. Like, it might not happen this season, but within like a few weeks of the new season or the season after, that gun is going to get nerfed into the ground. And at this point, there's not much more I can take. Like I've played Destiny ever since Dark Below came out, and I've stuck around with Bungie, through all the good times and the bad times in Vanilla D2 and all these other things. But, I'm starting to lose faith that, Bungie without Activision breathing down their neck is going to be any better than the Bungie that we've seen, with D1 and the beginning of D2 when Activision was there and having a say in what was going on. Like, there's zero reason for me to believe at this point that Bungie is competent enough and capable enough to make this game the game that we really want to have it be. And yesterday kind of cemented that for me. So unless they announce, sometime later this week that, that they read the comments on Reddit about, how the community feels about these changes, and, they might not be able to, make changes before the new season comes out, but, if they say something like, we are going to, revert those changes back, shortly after the season begins, like even that I would be fine with. But if they're just gonna, put their fingers in their ears and go la la la, we're just and just ignore us, then there's zero reason for me to believe that this game is ever going to be the game that it deserves to be and the game that we all want it to be. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the TWAB, and I'll see you later. Thanks.